Hello. Okay, okay. Fine. So, am I audible now? Just let me know in the chat. Okay. So, the today's topic is arrangements. So, in arrangements, there are various types of arrangements. So, we'll be looking at linear arrangements with terms, with different terms. So, basically, first thing that we talk about is linear arrangement. So linear arrangement are of two types. First, that are basic. So in which you will be given terms and conditions, like you will be given hints with respect to left and right direction. And the second will be with respect to different conditions. Okay, different conditions. So these are two types in linear. First is your basic, left and right, and the second is different conditions. Okay. So when we talk about arrangements, okay, so when we talk about arrangements, so in linear arrangements, first is left and right, which is north and south. So we'll discuss first north, then south. So when we are given conditions with respect to north and south, we can draw a straight line for arrangements. So there are some pose X, Y, Z, A, B people sitting, and they are facing in north direction. So whenever they are facing in north direction, always consider yourself towards the screen and consider to be this as left and this has to be right. So whenever there is a single direction given south, so suppose in the question there is given north, so you can consider this as left and right, and even if it is given south, you can consider this again as left and right, as there is only a single way of arrangement. So you can consider it from any side, but whenever there are two condition given, so suppose there are two rows. So now let's consider this as suppose there are two rows. So this is first and this is second. So it is mentioned that one row is facing north and one is facing south. So always keep the front row as the one facing north, which is left and right. And the second one will be this as south, which will be exactly opposite right and left. So suppose A, B, C, D are there, and here P, Q, R, S. So this means A, B, C, D are facing south and P, Q, R, S are facing north. So whenever we say that towards the right of R is S because it is facing north, and similarly when we ask about C, so the one facing so one who is towards the right of C is B and A, that is immediate is B, and towards the right is B and A. So whenever there is a term given as immediate, so immediate to the right means this person and immediate to the left means this person. So whenever immediate condition is given, we have to consider the person exactly to sitting besides them. I hope that's clear. So let's move forward. Just a second. Okay, so let us start with the first puzzle, which is facing north. Okay, so we have only one condition given, facing north. Okay, so let's start with the first condition that is given. There are five friends, A, B, C, D, E, B, C, D, E, and they are facing north. So that means we can consider it to be a line, and there are five friends. That is one, two, three, four, and five. So we don't know their exact positions, but there are five people and they are facing north. So always consider yourselves sitting towards north, and this is and this is left, and this is right. So now let us start with the given condition. So what they have given here is one more set, so one more condition. So these are condition based arrangements. So what they have given, they have different professions: doctor, engineer, artist, lawyer, and teacher. So now with this they have given some arrangements again. Okay, so let's start with this. So suppose one, two, three, four, and five. So five people. So this is your left, this is your right. Okay, so let's move on to the condition. Now B sits third to the right of artist. So first condition is, suppose here it is here is artist, and where does B sits? Third to the right of the artist. Okay, so one, two, three. Here it will be B. So looking at the condition, it is, this condition is taking four places. So either artist can be at the first place, second, third, fourth, fifth. So artist can be at the first place or it can be at the second place. So there are only two options, because it can't be on the third place because we don't have a sixth position in the right. Okay. Moving forward to the second condition, the doctor sits to the immediate left of the engineer. So what is second condition? Second condition is doctor sits to the immediate left of engineer. Engineer. And neither A nor E is a doctor, artist or doctor. So third condition given over here is not A, not E. Both of them are neither doctor or engineer. Okay. So the lawyer is at one of the ends. Okay. So lawyer is at one of the ends. So lawyer is at one of the ends. And A is not the lawyer again. Here it is. A is also not the lawyer. Okay. For A, we can again write down for A is not again a lawyer as well. So that means A can be an artist or the remaining profession, which is teacher. So from this we can get A can either be a teacher or an artist. Fine. And what they have given over here is the lawyer sit at one of the ends. So lawyer sit at one of the ends. The teacher is sitting exactly between C and D. Okay. And again, D is not the engineer. Again, D is not the engineer. So now D for engineer. Again, D cannot be there. So there are three people who cannot be what? uh, Engineer, that is A, E, and D. And now, so the remaining profession, so the people who can be what engineer can be either B or C. But now if you look at the question again, so for engineer, already there are places taken. So it's like, if B and C cannot can be engineer but cannot be artist. So most probably we can conclude here that either B or C is an engineer, one of them is engineer, and the rest for B has to be an artist. Okay, so let's consider this has to be an artist. So if he is sitting at the end, so let's suppose lawyer is sitting at the end, so we can assume this to be as B and this to be as artist. Okay, So now if artist is A, let's say, now B has to be someone and lawyer will be here again. Lawyer here will be here again. So D is not the engineer. Okay, the teacher sits exactly between C and D. Fine, fine. So teacher sits exactly between C and D. So C and D. So D again. So D cannot. So A cannot be a lawyer again. So A has to be an artist because teacher is sitting somewhere in between. So A will be artist again here. So what is next condition given over here? The lawyer is one of the ends. The doctor sits immediately left of the engineer. So for engineer, there are two options B and C. Fine. So B and C, let's consider this to be an engineer and this to be as doctor. So we can also say, okay, so what is the condition given over here is that the teacher is sitting exactly between C and D. So teacher is sitting exactly between C and D. So that means the scope for B being the engineer is not right. So we'll cancel this out over here. Fine. So this one. So B has to be the teacher. For this to the equations to be correct, B has to be the teacher. He has to be the teacher. Fine. And now again, the doctor is to the left of engineer. So all these terms are satisfied. So now, for engineer, if it is not B, then it has to be C, and this will be again D because the teacher sits between, and this will be A. So here our first puzzle get done. So what we have done in this puzzle, there are five people. Okay, so the first condition was artist is sitting. No, the B is sitting third to the right. So this is the first condition that is satisfied. So now doctor is sitting into the immediate left of engineer. This condition is even satisfied. Now A is not a lawyer. So A is not a lawyer, not a doctor engineer as well. So similarly, E is not doctor and engineer. Okay. So wait. So again, engineer. Okay, so one condition is missing over here. Fine. Hmm. So again, A, you cannot be artist and engineer. Fine, fine, fine. Just look after this will look. We'll have to revise this one. Let's look at this first. There's some mistake by me. The doctor says, okay. Let's start with this puzzle. This one is easy. You can take 2 minutes to solve this one. There are five courses, PQI, and that have to be teach from January to May. So 5 months. So January, February, March, April, and May. Fine. So there are ABCD, that is five courses. So courses are from A to D or A to E. There are five courses, and here you have lecturers. That is, so we'll make two columns. So first one will be of course, no, the other will be of lecture. So P teaches course B. So P, so we'll have again course and lecture. So first condition, P teaches. So P is a lecturer. It teaches B. Okay, so not in the month of April, nor in the month of May. Okay, not April, not May. Fine. Okay, now Q teaches course A in the month of March. So Q teaches course A in the month of March. This is satisfied. So now P teaches B. So P won't be in April, P won't be in May. So R teaches in month of January, which clearly indicates that P has to teach in the month of February. So R teaches in the month of, fine. So now what is given over here? Now P teaches which course? B. So okay, so out of the courses that we had A, B, C, D, E and lecturers P, Q, R, S, T. So P, Q, R done. A and B is also done. So now what is given? So but does not teach us C and D. So the only option here is E. Fine. So this is solved so far. And now what other conditions do we have? That P won't teach in the month of April and May, and Q teaches course A in the month of March, done, and R teaches in the month of January but does not teaches C or D. So now for final lecturer we have two options S and T, and similarly we have two options S and T, and they can either teach so they can either teach C or D, and C or D. So this is our second puzzle with respect to terms. So PE teachers, so we'll look after the conditions again. PE teachers course B, but not in the month of April or May. Okay, satisfied. Q teaches A in the month of March, satisfied. R teaches in the month of January, but not for C or D. So for April, we'll have different probabilities. Okay, so moving forward, the next puzzle. So read this puzzle. Take your time. So again, there are six people whom we can consider to be as A, B, C, D instead of writing their complete names. So they took up a job in XYZ Consultants in a week from Monday to Saturday. Okay. So each of them joined for different posts on different days. So the puzzle says that there are six people and they will be joining on six different days. That is from Monday to Saturday. So the first thing that we can do is create a table of from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay, so we can now make one more table that the people who are joining and their post. So we'll move forward with the conditions. So there were different posts, that is clerk, officer, technician, manager, supervisor, sales executive, not in the same order. Now Faisal joined as manager on the first day, which means Faisal joined on the first day, that is Monday, and he joined as a manager. So moving forward with the second term, that is Bobby joined as supervisor, but neither on Wednesday nor Friday. So okay, so Bobby didn't join on Wednesday, didn't join on Friday, and Bobby joined as a, I'll put conditions over here. Bobby joined as a supervisor. So we have A, B, C, D, F information. So we have received information for F. We have received it for B. Always use this method to cancel out and eliminate the terms which the data has been cleared on. So it will be better for you to get understanding when solving complex data. So Dimple joined as a technician on Thursday. So Dimple joined as a technician on Thursday. Fine. So the officer joined the firm on Wednesday. So officer joined the firm on Wednesday. Okay. And what other information do we have regarding Isha joined as a clerk on Tuesday? Isha joined as a clerk on Tuesday. So clerk on Tuesday. So Isha. So now if we look at the conditions for B, B cannot be on Wednesday and Friday. So the only condition for Bobby to be there is on Saturday, which is supervisor. So now all the terms are done. And now the remaining one is sales executive, which was joined by Akshay. So A, B, C, everything is done. So only remaining C, who is Selena, this will be the officer. So let's look at the conditions again. So Bobby joined as supervisor, but neither Wednesday nor Friday. So Bobby, the condition for Bobby is satisfied. Okay. So the second condition was Akshay, sales executive, correct. Then Faisal, manager, first condition, correct. Now Isha on Tuesday as clerk, correct. And the remaining is Dimple and Selena, that is also correct. So I solve this puzzle. We'll move on to the next puzzle. So now this puzzle is again a circular arrangement. So before starting this puzzle, we'll focus on what is circular arrangements. So whenever we talk about circular arrangement, these arrangements are basically repetitive arrangements. So you can consider this position from this side as well. Just a second. So let's consider this position X. So and here A and B. So when we talk about X now, X has different perspectives from both sides. For B, he is to the immediate left of B, and for right, he is to the immediate right. So now whenever we talk about circular arrangements, well, now here there are 8%. So now we can draw a circle like this. Fine. So now we have a circle like this. So there are 8%. So now let's start with the question. So 8 friends A, B, C, D, E, F, G are sitting in a circular arrangement. So let's start with the circle first. Again, we'll draw circle with 8 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's start with the given conditions. So what is the condition? A sits exactly between G and B. So A sits exactly between G and B. Either it can be in this manner or it can be either in this manner. So this is first condition. Let's move on to second condition. D is two sets away from G but not adjacent to B. Okay, so D is two sets away from G. So we can say that D is two sets away from G. This is second condition. So now C sits to the immediate left of F. So let's consider F to be here, then C will be here. Okay. So this was our second condition. Third condition. Now H is not next to C or A. So that means H is not next to C nor A. Fine. So again, we'll move on to the conditions. E is to the immediate right of D. So E is to the immediate right of D. We can continue it to be here. So with this we can make a condition out of that. So G E. So that means we have got a five places condition. Fine. So now F is not adjacent to G or E. F is not adjacent to G or E. So that means G won't come here, E won't come here. So now if three places are gone, so we only have one condition which can be satisfied. So G will come over here because no other condition can satisfy it. So basically we'll have G over here, then two places as per this question, then we'll have E over here. So now what is given? So H is does not sit next to or close to C and A. Fine. So now we have again G sits between, so A sits between G and B. So B can't come over here. So B has to be over here. A has to be over here. Fine. And now at last we'll get the condition as H over here. H over here. So we have solved this puzzle as well. So we have got the first equation as PDA. So let's look at the conditions again. So A sits exactly between G and B. So A sits exactly between G and B. Fine. So now we have one more second condition. D is two sits away from G but not adjacent to B. Okay, so not adjacent to B. So we have it adjacent to B here. So we have to change the conditions again. So we'll focus on the set again with new conditions. So we'll solve this again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now we'll focus again that A is somewhere between B and G. So it has to be BG or GAB, right? So this is condition 1. So condition 2, so condition 2 is D is two sets away from G but not adjacent to B. So G is two sets away from D. That means B won't come here, B won't come here. Fine. And then we have C is to the immediate left of F. So we'll solve this again. C is to the immediate left of F. Fine. So let's start again. So what is the next condition again? C sits to the H is not next to C or A. Okay, so H is not next to C, so H won't be here. So if we are solving this, so H won't be here. And again, we'll write a condition that H is some not close to A. Fine. And then E is to the immediate right of D. So E is to the immediate right of D. So E will be over here. Fine. So again, when we talk about the data that is given, F is not adjacent to G or E. So F is not adjacent to G or E. So F won't be here. F won't be here. Fine. So G won't come over here. So we'll solve it again. So we'll do G. Then we have two spaces. That is D, and we have E over here. Fine. So now what is given? A is here because there is someone has to be B, D, E, and then final H. Okay. So all our conditions are satisfied. Yeah, it was satisfied before. Okay, so B and D can be together. Fine. So this has to be the only given condition. So if we want this condition to be written in a linear manner, so we can start it from anywhere we wish. So let us suppose we are starting from G. So G, A, B, D, E, C, and F, H. So I'm writing it from G, and then I'm starting from A because it is from the right position. So G, A, B. So we can say that when we are talking about something with respect to right, so we'll also always consider this, and we are talking about left, we'll consider this. So this will be when we are talking who is to the left of H, immediate left of H, so that will be F, and C, E, D, B, A, G. So this is how we solve a basic circular arrangement. Okay, so we'll start with this puzzle again. Okay, there was some mistake, so we'll take a time of 5 minutes and we'll solve this again. So we'll write down the first condition. that B sits third to the right of. Okay. Second is doctor sits to the immediate left of engineer. Okay. And third condition is neither A nor E is artist. And let's start over here. Fine. So we'll start with the given conditions again. Okay, let's start with the first condition. That artist, and here it will be B, third to the right of artist. Fine. So this was our first condition. Now second condition is doctor sits immediate left of engineer. Okay. So now with this given, let's solve. There are 5 places. Okay. So again, we'll do two condition. We'll solve it two conditions. So now what they have given is the lawyer sits at one of the ends. So now we have two probabilities for this. The lawyer can be over here. The lawyer can be over here. If the lawyer is over here, then the artist has to be over here and the B person. Okay, so let's create a set out of this. And similarly, we'll create a set out of this. And here artist has to be over here. Artist has to be over here because if artist cannot be somewhere else, because there has to be a gap of 2 between artist and B. Fine. So this is case 1 and this is case 2. Okay. So the third condition, let's move on to third condition. A or E, neither A nor E is an artist or doctor. So we'll write it down over here that A and E both cannot be artist and they can't be a doctor as well. Fine. So the next condition is the teacher is sitting exactly between C and D. So teacher is sitting exactly between C and D. So that means we can say this is C, again between there is a teacher, and then it is D. So but we don't know, it can be D and C as well. Fine. It can be D and C as well. So let's put conditions. So there is only one possibility of teacher being over here, and it can be either C or D, and C or D. So A and E are not doctor and artist. Fine. So E, so we have to find again E. So we'll move on to the conditions again. D is not an engineer. So D is not an engineer. D is not an engineer. A is not the lawyer. A is not the lawyer. So A is not the lawyer. And again we have conditions as uh, B. So now what else is remaining? Engineer is remaining. And what other profession is remaining? uh, engineer and okay, engineer and which profession again? Doctor. Fine. So we can have two conditions with the cases. So suppose we are selecting D over here. Then uh, just a second. So C and D. So C and D again. So if you are selecting D over here and D is not an engineer. So if D is not an engineer, so that means engineer has to be over here. If we are considering it, D has to be here. That means C is an artist. Again, what else is remaining? So this will be nothing but doctor. D will be doctor. Fine. But again, if C is over here, then D will become an artist. Fine. So D will become an artist, C will become a doctor, and the rest B will be an engineer. And we have choices for A and E. So A and E again can be distributed over here. So there are multiple cases in this. So there is no finite case for this question. So there are different cases. Okay, so we can say there are different cases. Different cases. Okay, so now again, when we talk about this condition, so a teacher has to be in between. So again, there will be a lot of condition. So this case can be ruled out as well because we don't have definite information for this. So this case can be ruled out. Now this depends on the number, the question presented over here. But here it can be either with starting with C or D. So if there is a question that given that C is sitting towards the left of B, so again you can put C over here and D over here and emphasize on the fact that D cannot be an engineer, so D has to be a doctor. So this is how you can rule out cases and solve on basis of questions. So fine, we have covered so far uh, circular basic, then with linear cases, cases 1 and cases 2 for any question. So how to create out multiple cases, and then linear with respect to arrangements with different objects or role associated. That is the job or anything that they are associated. Fine. So this was for arrangements with condition. I hope that's clear. We'll meet in the next session.